Hey guys, what's going on? Randy here again with Nerds Templar, bringing you some more Pokemon TCG collection. Just came back from another uh, excursion, I suppose, not really an excursion, a hangout at the local comic book shop. Met more formally now this time finally a couple of the Pokemon TCG card players. Also found that most of them are pretty much heavy Magic the Gathering players as well, which, is kind of to be expected of adults. But that's something that I would really like to talk about someday. Um, I myself, just to give a quick uh, general thing about what I would like to say is personally, the reason that I've gone toward back to the Pokemon route is exactly that reason. I'm going back trying to cleanse my soul and mind, my soul palette, if you will, of all the negative, all the bad stuff, all the nonsense that's out there in the world that we as adults let ourselves be drawn into. I was thinking to myself, it's almost like we think that things that are rated, maybe not so much G, but things that are rated PG, we'll say, or maybe even PG-13 sometimes, we almost think that, well, as adults, or as kids, the rated R is restricted, right, to children. That's what it means, pretty much. Um, and then, but we almost make the false jump, or false, I guess, the false comparison, if you will, as an adult to the earlier stuff, almost saying that that's restricted to children. And while, again, the G, the very young stuff, that's one thing, but I mean, and maybe you can argue that Pokemon falls into that category. I would argue otherwise. That it's basically like all the other stuff that you would have out there that even adults are into. It's just that it's more wholesome, and that's where one, it gets the lower rating, not a PG-13 kind of rating. But then two, that's why people think that it's for children, I suppose, because we're such a fallen people that we think that anything that isn't almost something that's not destroying us and causing us to sin, perhaps, something that isn't the near occasion of sin isn't for adults. If it's not possibly going to cause us to sin and to build bad habits and vices, that's not adult like. Because if we're adults, we need to be sinning, basically, is what it comes down to. And in light of that sort of thinking is sort of why and not only that, I mean, I've just given up. I don't have as much of a desire for any of that um, over the top, sort of sinful, especially more overtly pagan or satanic even kind of stuff, or whatever, cultic. Pokemon's not quite at the level of most of those things. You could maybe again argue that there's a little bit of, I mean, and we will argue in some videos I have already, that there's some problematic things about it, but it's nowhere near most of the other things. Yu-Gi-Oh again is pretty much okay, but again, I think that this has Yu-Gi-Oh beat out of the water by far. And I'm also I'm sort of separating the card game, the video games, and the anime from each other in Pokemon, especially the first two, the games, the trading card game and the video games. I would definitely separate those even more from the anime itself, because that has a lot of problems. I won't even go into that again. But the game, the trading card game, the video games, that's a different story. Um, anyway, that all being said, what I really wanted to say quickly here before I get into filling in, and then I'll come back to you and show you what it looks like once I'm done filling in all our new sheets we have back here. I was gonna buy another 40. And of course, there were only 35 left, go figure, so I just got the other 35. So we have 75 sheets instead of 80. Hopefully, we'll still be able to get most of our stuff in here, but the problem is that I don't know if I'll ever get more of these sheets, if the owner, the dude's gonna buy another thing of these and they'll be the same or not. But now, because of that, I'm going to have to reconsider what, if I'm stuck with just 75 of these type of sheets, what I'm going to do with those. And if that is the case, these will probably be used for the pre-Scarlet, and of course, they'll be used for the pre-Scarlet and Violet stuff. So I'll have to take everything out that I have currently. Although this does really, right now, it goes to the Scarlet and Violet base set. So not really. So really, this is what I would have to take all of this out. But what I'll be putting in here right now is all going to be Sword and Shield. So it'll be fine. I think those will probably end up being okay for Sword and Shield. Because I don't think I'll use them for Sun and Moon and X and Y. XY. There's probably too many for that. Anyway, yeah, comic book shop, watched some battles. I actually watched all of them because there was only 3 people competing. Met, and then there was also the coordinator was there, the Pokemon coordinator guy. So four other guys all together, all adults as well, and they're great guys. Seemed like really great guys. I had a good time with them watching their only a couple battles. They just did best of 1. So there was only 2 battles because there was just 3 of them. Next time, maybe I'll be able to join them, and there will at least be 4 of us or whatever for a little bit more of a proper tournament. But it was cool anyway, and even better, I wasn't expecting, but I kind of should have expected because, these guys were good guys. The owner's a good guy, real good guys. I did get just for hanging out with them, and I wasn't sure. I should have also known that they would have these. The Play Pokemon, as you can read there, prize packs, the promo packs for when playing in Pokemon League basically. So I guess they're pretty legit down there, legit enough to have these. But again, like I said, they're mostly like more into Magic, but they come for these. They come for these things, which makes sense. They're into collecting too, a couple of them at least from what I was hearing. And they definitely know their stuff, even though they all are a little on different levels. Maybe one guy maybe seems to play a good bit. One guy seems maybe he plays a little less, and he's more maybe into Magic. And then there's another guy who maybe is the same about there, and then one who is the same currently, but maybe would be different. He's just not really into the meta. I don't know nearly enough about the meta of Pokemon TCG right now to. Nobody's talking about really, but maybe someday soon I will. Maybe I'll get into it a little bit, but that's really not why we started. Although I would like to get into battling, and I would like to hang out with those guys and do some battling, and on at least some kind of legitimate level. I think we can at least manage. Maybe it's just been so long. Magic is probably the last thing I played, like physical card game I played. Played tons of Hearthstone. I played a little bit of Magic Online too, but anyway. So we opened these there with the guys because I figured that was the right thing to do. So you don't get to see me undo them, of course, but here they are anyway. You can see what I got. We got a toolbox, and again, I'm not gonna have any idea how good these things are. But I'm wondering if these are like new, like do they, like if they come out with these Pokemon every like for every expansion, or not every expansion, but every like year almost thing, because like to go by the year symbol, to know that all of the cards that are in here are going to be playable for the rest of the year. Because I think we were talking about it. I know that the change is going to come up because of the new expansion. That a bunch of cards are going to be restricted now from standard. I think they said 2 weeks or something like that. Anyway, so that was interesting. Getting to listen to a little bit of the talk about deck changes and whatnot. But it was cool. Yeah, it was a really great time. I had a really great time with them. It was hilarious. I laughed so hard to myself whenever the second thing I saw, because I opened Series 3 and then Series 4. Second card I saw, maybe if you guys are following, you would have laughed too as soon as I flipped it up. This is our 5th, I think, overall Leafy Camo Poncho, 2 of which are hollows, reverse hollows. And they're not like completely, they're not the cheapest. Whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to the Pokemon V-Star or Pokemon V-Max this card is attached to. So, I mean, I guess it's a pretty good card. Makes it invulnerable to trainer cards, some types of trainer cards, pretty much. Again, I would need to at least have some battle experience to just even know what like the semi-meta is. I got a little bit of a gist of it from watching 2 battles, but unfortunately that's all there were people to do. You know, one round, one guy got a bye, and then the next round, the bye acted as a win, and so it wasn't like any kind of round robin or anything with 3 people. It was just I thought maybe the coordinator of the tournament was going to play also, but maybe I guess maybe he doesn't participate. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So the Leafy Camo Poncho. Then we had Professor's Research, which I guess is, I mean, this is discard your hand and draw 7 cards. I think this is a pretty Professor Sada, pretty common card in decks. Maybe. So again, not bad to have a stamped one of those. Got a Jacques, which I thought was, I mean, it's a cool hollow one. And I didn't really speak up because those guys had like a bunch of packs to open, obviously, since they actually participated in the thing. I was just like, you guys are awesome for even giving me anything just for like, I was literally, I mean, they didn't act as though I was in the way or anything, but I was like, you know, I'm just here to like sit in the corner and chat a little bit and get, you know, just get to know the thing. But they were cool enough to give me 2 of these packs again. So thank you guys. I know you're not going to probably ever hear this, but thank you anyway. But anyway, I didn't want to just like shout out all the things I was getting while they were pulling. They actually, they had some cool cards come out of those packs. Some really cool cards. A alternate art Garchomp EX. That was pretty awesome. And one of the guys runs a what's it called, a Chien Pao deck, and he got a stamped version of his card basically. So that was cool. His premier card of his deck. Anyway, so the Jacques, I thought that was a pretty cool looking card, if nothing else. Search your deck for 2 evolution Pokemon, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. It's probably pretty good. It sounds like it'd be very useful. Again, a supporter there. You can only play 1 of those per turn. We got this real, I thought, again, really cool hollow Grottle, even though it's an uncommon. It's like a background hollow. So Grottle himself is not hollow. The only thing that's hollow is the background of the portrait, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's a nice, interesting card. Another Grottle for us. We need more Turtwigs in our life. I don't know if we have any Torteros. And then we got a Darkness Energy there, and that was that. How many cards comes in? 6. Yeah. So wait. 3, 4, 5, 6, including the energy. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. I also learned because weighing. Pack weighing came up, that, and it might be different now, but they actually, what they do is these cards, there's 2 types of these Pokemon trading card game live cards, one of which is a little heavier than the other, and they use it to offset the weight difference if there's a hollow, extra hollow in the pack. Isn't that crazy? So I'm like, oh man, that is just very interesting. So I think the consensus was we'll have to look at the newest packs and see what the difference between the cards is, because there's actually a difference in how they look, and we'll have to just find out what that is. And I don't think we'll be able to know from the ones we just got, because, and there you just have it. Now they probably put all super packs in those build and battle boxes to begin. Anyway, we'll have to take a look. The idea, I'm assuming, is one is going to have more black, probably like this border, and one will have maybe a white border or gray or something like that. Or there will be more black on another card, and this is the lighter one. One of those, something like that, is going to be the case. But I thought that was pretty cool. So people can't weigh out the hollows anymore. So I guess It has been all in my head this whole time. Which was, of course, the case. But anyway, there's the one. Play Pokemon Prize Pack, Series 3, and then Series 4. I'm wondering. No, because this did have Scarlet Violet, right? We had some Scarlet Violet in here. Had to have. Had to have. Had to have. One of them. Yeah, Jacques. Yeah. The other one is definitely as well, because I remember one of the cards at least that was in there. And it's also a later one. And it also has the starter evolution, last evolutions of those starters. The guy that won was running a Meowscarada EX deck with some other stuff that of course I didn't quite understand, but I kind of got the gist of what he was doing, what was happening. He definitely won, that's for sure. I actually in the very beginning of the first match, it wasn't his first match, the first match also. It wasn't too cut and dry. Anyway, Arezu is the first one. We haven't had this at all, so search your deck for up to 3 evolution Pokemon that don't have a roll box, which I guess is like the Pokemon V, Pokemon GX, etc. have roll boxes. And put them in your hand, shuffle, and then shuffle your deck. So basically any of the non-crazy, just a normal evolution Pokemon, 3 of them. Beach Court Stadium. Retreat cost of each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, is 1 less. Then we had an Archeops, and what was this? Uncommon, rare Archeops, which was pretty cool, but it's all fully unhollow. What does he do? Primal Turbo. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Wow, that sounds like a lot of special energies. And then this was a common Clavel. That's the one I remembered, and I remembered him being a from Scarlet Violet, the whatever. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon with 120 HP or less, reveal them and put them in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So that will, of course, limit most of those crazy basic Pokemon, but not all of them. And then we got this cooler. I actually shouted this one out because they were talking about rare candies, and I figured, oh, rare candy must be like the card to have. Everyone has 4 of in their decks. So, and it makes it so choose one of your basic Pokemon in play. If you have a stage 2 card in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card onto the basic Pokemon to evolve it, skipping the stage 1. You can't use this card during your first turn or on a basic Pokemon that was put into play this turn. So basically a evolution skipping card, which is pretty cool. But then, of course, a hollow and stamped version of that now. That common card. And I pointed that out to him, like, oh yeah, I don't know if I have any rare candies, to be honest. But that's because I also don't have any new decks, theme decks. And then our fire energy, which is cool because, again, we never get fire energies. So it's cool that one of the few fire energies we get is now a stamped one. So we had a fire and a darkness stamped. So that's that. I didn't expect to show you those because I didn't expect to get them. That was a very pleasant surprise. And then another semi-surprise, not really, but another thing that I'll be able to show you at least, maybe, we'll see at least what happens here, is this is the wrong one. So the last video, 2 videos ago, I opened this Build and Battle box. That's the one I got from that comic book shop. But I also got this other one from a card collectibles shop, or whatever, card shop. And when I opened it, of course, because I am not lucky at all, we got another Metang promo. I talked a little bit to one of the guys about this, about what, about these. It's hopefully, maybe I can still get rid of this Metang promo for another one, but I was told that there's 8 potential decks for 4 promos. So each promo has 2 different potential decks. So it is possible that this deck is different than the other one. And we could actually, because they're not fully ready to play decks since they're only 40 cards, we could maybe combine the 2 decks, semi decks, together to make a full deck. But I'll tell you right now, my luck is so bad most of the time that I have quite the feeling that this is going to be the exact same deck. And that, because again, that's how it goes. But again, if that's the case, I don't know if we'd probably not be able to find another person that gets the same 2 like us. Let's just do, okay. Thank you, Lord. Not making it a complete waste. We actually do have, interesting, because they introduced ancient and future cards. Ooh, I think that every promo, since it has 2 decks, I bet each of them has 1 ancient and 1 future deck. Can those be combined into an ancient and future deck? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. These technically, again, aren't even legal yet, I guess. Although I'm pretty sure that the guys, if I had like 2 of these, oh, look at that blemish. What is that about? Man. See that on the edge of the hollow? Why? Man, that is unfortunate. But anyway, I think they would have, if I had like put these 2 semi decks together, they probably would have let me use it anyway. Even though it would have been totally new, man. They wouldn't have any idea what to do. Not true. They probably would have been just fine. All right, so there's that, and well, let's just go through. Now we're probably going to get some more duplicates. I mean, some things that we already had, like this Iron Thorns we got in the last video, is now part of this deck. So there's that, and this is going to be a Psychic and Lightning deck, which I kind of was already aware of. And then of course we'll also have our Beldum. And what is still going to get me though is Miraidon. We're going to be able to use that. We can use that. See, Psychic and Lightning, or Lightning energy there. But the Koraidon with the Fire energy, I just don't get it. How can we use that? So Future Booster Energy Capsule instead of the Ancient. Future Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost, and these attacks it uses do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Interesting. Lightning energy. Techno Radar. You could use this card only if you discard another card from your hand, search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon, reveal them, and put them in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. I don't know if we could use these 2 together. Wait, that's weird. So this one has 3 energies in it, but the other one only has 2, even though it needs some fire. It don't have none. What else does it have? It just has steel and fighting, or whatever you want to call it. Ground, rock. Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. Did we skip something there? Metang, of course, yeah. Sorry, I just skipped over him because Metang. Buddy Poffin. Lightning. Iron Thorns again. Metagross. Steel. Metal, sorry. Miraidon. Eventually I'll get the some of them have different names in the game, some don't. Psychic does not. Metal and Lightning do. I would call them Steel and Electric, but whatever. Beldum. Iron Thorns again. There has to be a couple other Pokemon in here we haven't seen yet. At least one, I'd say. Youngster. Miriam. Jacques. Jacques again. I mean, that's not Jacques, but we had that Hollow Jacques. Hollow Jacques. Another Luminous Energy. We've got one in the other deck. Lightning. Miraidon. Or maybe that is it. Miraidon, Iron Thorns. Oh, there should have been one other one. Am I just forgetting the other one we saw, maybe? I feel like there was one other future Pokemon in the, or ancient Pokemon in the other one. Here would be another future type. Metagross there. Metal, Monty's Conviction. That again is, you can use this only if you discard another card, and you can draw a card for each Pokemon on your opponent's bench. Metang, yeah, I guess that's all there is. 4 Iron Thorns. All right, well, that's that one. Iron Thorns, Miraidon, the Metagross evolution tree, and that's it for Pokemon in there. How about that? So, oh yeah, but you know what? You know what I said earlier in the last video, that is, we actually have quite a few. Not only do we have quite a few electric or lightning type cards here. Do something about those now. Now that they're open and we're keeping them and not trying to find a buyer or trader other than for the promo there, the Metang promo. We could potentially make a psychic and electric lightning future deck. I mean, we would need a couple cards. If we had a Raichu and a whatever comes before. Oh wait, yeah, no, Zeraora is a basic, so we could use him. Could use our Bronzong doesn't have a, yeah, because it would be Solos's here. Could almost use, and we also had just don't have it, he's in the piles back there. What's his face? The Reuniclus. We don't have him, but we could, if we had a couple of that, we'd have that. Bronzor, Bronzong. We got 2 Screamtails, one here, one in there, still in the packs that are, you can't see right there. They're still there from last time. I'm about to put them in soon. So we could actually add 2 Screamtails, even though they're ancient, so that's a little different. But oh yeah, never mind. It wouldn't be very useful because it only heals ancient Pokemon on the bench. But we do have 1 uncommon Iron Valiant and 2 of the rare Holo Iron Valiants, so that could be added, of course, to the Psychic and Lightning future deck, and be very useful. Yeah. And that's about it. Yeah, but it is more, at least it was. We'll have to take a look once we put all those other cards in here, but it was more cards for a potential deck than we had with the ancient one. We do have that Miraidon Holo, but of course, probably just keep it in here. You don't need to play. Do you need to? I don't know. Those guys were playing with, they were probably happy to play with all their cool cards. I don't know if I could bring myself to do it. Anyway, that is that. I am now going to be back in a moment after I put all these in order. I mean, after I fill all this stuff up and put all these cards, put all the newest ones in, fill up the back with the rest of the Scarlet Violet. I almost finished off base set. I needed like 2 more sleeves maybe. Finish off that, do the rest in for the Sword and Shield, at least for the beginning, the ending of Sword and Shield. That's still going to be legal for a year maybe. And then I'll be back to show you what this binder looks like full-ish. I mean, at least ready to go to be a complete binder at some point in time. So yeah, that'll be next. Maybe I'll even make that a whole new video because this has been so long. So if that's the case, thanks for joining me, guys. I'm Randy, Nerds Templar. Peace out.